freestyling in front of an audience, when you're in the audience, it has the appearance of magicians doing a magic show. And I've always enjoyed that.
Hollywood Theater, LocFiles Media, Vancouver, BC, HipHop 50 event. We're live right now with Moka Only, Split Sphere, Q Continuum, Swollen members, alumni. How you doing, man?
Chillin'.
Word. Okay, first and foremost, it was really great to see you here. 50 years of hip-hop, you know what I mean? You've been at it, one of the longest running, still active artists from the BC area for hip-hop music, a pioneer, a trailblazer. I wanted to ask you a little bit of how it felt to reconnect with Prevail. You guys were talking a little bit about how it felt back in the day to be freestyling by the pier and whatnot, performing together. How did you guys end up coming back together for a Split Sphere?
Well, I mean, me and Prevail always stayed friends. Even after I left the group, we've always stayed in touch. And in the last couple years, we meet up frequently. And it's always been in the back of our mind to get back to doing some Split Sphere stuff. We don't have immediate plans of doing a project, but it's being talked about right now. So I think tonight was a valid first step into that stratosphere.
Great. There was a little bit of talks as well that we noticed back and forth between you guys, friendly and showing love to the homies, you know, Flip Out, AMP Army, Rascalz and whatnot. A little bit of brief background. Do we notice references to the infamous Flip Out and Prevail? There used to be a little bit of a rivalry with Q Continuum and the Rascalz crew that eventually formed into organic and I think very positive unification within yourselves and the two parties within the BC hip-hop region. Can you give us a little bit of background and your perspective on such?
Yeah, for sure. Well, when me and Prevail first moved here from Victoria in the early 90s, you know, there wasn't a lot of groups happening. Rascalz was sort of like the premier group that was really making noise. And us being young guys and being competitive, you know, we kind of got at them. We did a little bit of, you know, interrupt ciphers and all that sort of stuff, like just being young and cocky. And they were young and cocky too. So it just sort of started brewing this sort of beef, I guess you could say. Like nothing too severe, but like we dissed them, they would diss us. They even dissed us on record. And you know, looking back, it's all funny, but that also spilled over into the peripheral members like Flip Out and even Mad Child at one point. Like we didn't see eye to eye, and me and Prev were just hell-bent on making a name for ourselves. So if that included battling other guys to help climb that ladder, so be it. We all used to do it like that, you know. Over time, we grew up, we matured. I always did think the Rascalz were dope, and they've made an indelible contribution to not just Vancouver hip-hop, not just Canadian hip-hop, but hip-hop in general. So I have nothing but love and respect for those guys. You know, since all those times in the 90s, we've been on the bill together to do shows many times, and it's nothing but love.
Word. Big ups to all the OG crews, man, at the end of the day. I noticed you chose to perform more than two, but you guys performed some songs that a lot of people loved and respected from you guys, knowing you from the Split Sphere QC days. You saw people in the crowd. Shout out to, you know, Stace Prince. Shout out to people like DCO Ellipsis and whatnot that recognized the sound that you guys were able to put out back in the day. Can you give us a little bit of background on some of these tracks you did Prevail and a little bit about how you feel about the showcase tonight?
Well, tonight we were asked by Jay Swing to basically just make an appearance. We kind of overstayed our welcome a little. We were just going to, you know, rock 2 tracks kind of thing. I brought a little bit more than that because I wanted to perform a song from my latest album, In and of Itself. So that's the track that I did first. And also to be able to get in front of the crowd and sort of give a brief background of what me and Prevail were up to prior to Swollen members. I also felt it very important to do the Fuel Injected song because that was a turning point in all of our careers, and we were just lucky that we even had the reception and feedback back then that we had for that song. So I wanted to include that tonight. Prev was a little bit reluctant at first, you know what I mean, because we didn't have a chance to get together to rehearse that. I also knew that we'd get back to doing a lot of freestyle stuff tonight and just having fun that way. And I think the crowd's always receptive. Freestyling in front of an audience, when you're in the audience, it has the appearance of magicians doing a magic show. And I've always enjoyed that. I started noticing that doing shows in the 90s, making stuff up off the top of their head, and the way people would receive it, it was just incredible always to watch people's eyes light up when they realized that this is unscripted material. It's right there on the spot. So we had to include that tonight.
Much love. That was a very well described response. I really appreciate that at the end of the day. Lastly, just to close it off, 2023 summertime right now, Big Moka O. What you got coming up, and at this point in time, what's your perspective on your musical career?
Okay, well, next in the canon, I've got a few things cooking right now. Next spring, I'll be releasing a new album called Arbutus Canyon, which is a real place on Vancouver Island. I always, throughout my career, I've tried to include Vancouver and British Columbia in my music, so people could feel proud about it, for one, but also just to explain my surroundings and give that to the world, you know what I mean? Arbutus Canyon will be coming out next spring. There's also the annual Martian Christmas that will be out in December. Been doing that one every year since 2004. Martian Christmas is an ongoing winter-themed project that I do and release every December. This September, I've got a beat project called Spooky Beats and Other Treats, which clearly is October, which clearly is like a Halloween sort of themed project, sort of like my darker type of stuff, all instrumental. And I've got 3 other projects on the go, which I don't want to overload you. So that's it for right now that I'll talk about as far as stuff going on. Yeah. As far as the career, God willing, I don't know where it's going. I just have to ride it out the best I can, and I love and appreciate every minute of doing this stuff and to be able to showcase it for people. So regardless if I'm touring or not, I'm always creating and trying to make something that hopefully connects with people.
All right, thank you very much. We're signing off right here, LocFiles Media, right now, East Sing, Moka Only.
Love, it's a challenge indeed. Go and find somewhere where you can get that shit, Godspeed, I rock on and I rock off. A plate full of food on the tablecloth. On the tablecloth. A plate full of food on the tablecloth. I rock on and I rock off. A plate full of food on the tablecloth. On the tablecloth. A plate full of food on the table.